PowerCranks users tell us about some of the cycling benefits they've seen training with PowerCranks.
I trained with them over the winter time on my trainer, and then in the spring we went out and the hammerheads are the gear guys on the bike run that usually kill me. I actually kept up with them.
And my 20K time trial is over 2 minutes faster now. I took my top end crank speed, my cadence was about 174 before I got the cranks, and now I can hold 205 easily, and my top is 245.
I set a course record in a couple of races this year on the bike.
I raced at about 215, 210, 215. And not only did I set a personal best on the bike, but I got off the bike and I can run the marathon, and I seriously contribute all of that to PowerCranks.
Let's talk cycling records. In 2000, Sam Whittingham set the HPV world speed record at over 72 miles an hour. Then he started training on PowerCranks. In 2001, he further improved his own record to over 80 miles an hour. That's an 8-mile-an-hour improvement in just one season. Wow.
The biggest change I've seen actually is on the bike. I've raced a lot of criteriums and road races still, and a lot of the comments I get from people, because I didn't even notice it, but the people I race with, they're asking me, why are you spinning so fast? And I'm not, I'm just riding, but my cadence has come up probably about 15 RPMs. And then I'll look around and people are, probably a dozen people have commented this season since February, because we start early in Arizona. And they keep commenting, you're going so fast, isn't it hard? And I'm like, it's not hard, it's just normal riding for me now. So.
3-month money-back guarantee. So I thought 3 months would be a good time to do a test. So I rode PowerCranks exclusively for 3 months. I didn't even commute on my commuter bike. I did everything on PowerCranks for 3 months. I put 2,200 miles on them. Then in the first week of April, I devised a little test for myself. It was a 40K time trial, home, eat a gel, go out for a 10K run. For the time trial, I took 4 minutes and 19 seconds off my best time. For the 10K run, I took 5 minutes and 28 seconds off my best time.
So you decided that they were worth it?
I decided that I was not sending them back.
I just finished Worlds, and I had my best bike time ever, and I took 5 minutes off my bike time at Worlds. So,
how much faster is that in speed?
It's about 5 kilometers an hour.
For 4 months I've been using it. Cycling is much better, much more efficient on my bike. I don't get tired, and it's great.
And what I like about them is I can feel my heart rate go higher than I would conventionally on a bike, and I think I work a lot harder with them. So in terms of efficiency, time efficiency, I like them because if I do 60 miles on the PowerCranks, I reckon it's worth 80 or 90 miles on my conventional bike, and it forces you to work hard all the time. You're not having downtime, you're not having poor training. You either do it or you don't with these things.
The improvements in terms of flexibility I started to see pretty quickly. In terms of performance, I think especially climbing hills in the seated, my biggest issue is getting down in the aero position. So I'm starting to see some real improvements, and I'm here. This is my first time in Hawaii, so I guess that's pretty much says where I've got. Yes.
Okay, so this is the first time you qualified?
First time I qualified.
Also with Ironman Arizona, I'd ridden the bike a handful of times on the road before the race, and all I'd done was be on a turbo trainer, but with PowerCranks on in the wintertime. I rode for 6 months, I only rode on the road twice. So, and I came out to do Ironman Arizona, and I kind of in my head kind of didn't count, those months because it wasn't outdoors, and so going into the race I was kind of nervous, and then I ended up having like one of the best bike splits, and I was thinking that must have been because there was only biking I did, and I only came out to race venue in March and the race is in April, and that's the first biking I did on the road for 6 months since Florida, back on the bike. So
yeah, they did help me bring my cadence up, and I do feel like I did become a stronger cyclist from the PowerCranks, and also to help my running as well.
Over Ironman distance, I saw a 12-minute improvement, 12 minutes in a bike split over Ironman distance.
And my friends back in South Africa call them the golden wonders because they're golden and they do wonders for your riding, so there you go.
Well, when I first got them, I'd had an injury a few years before, and I had quite an imbalance in my legs, and my left leg was quite a bit weaker than my right leg, and I was struggling to get that corrected. And definitely with riding the PowerCranks, they force you to use both legs at the same amount of power. Otherwise, you wouldn't pedal a smooth stroke. And I could definitely feel that initially in the training. My left leg would feel like it was fatiguing a lot faster than my right leg, but at the same time I knew it was a good thing because it was making it stronger. And over time they balanced out, and I ride a lot straighter on the bike, and I have a much more efficient pedal stroke, and just feel stronger all around.
But the bike performance is definitely better since I ride with the PowerCranks, and I have a better feeling, and I know what I am doing. I'm not just, pushing a hard effort in 1/10 of the whole cycle or whatever.
The spin scan. I mean, I was in the low 90s on a spin scan on the CompuTrainer anyway, which is kind of high. But the power output at the same heart rate was, right off the bat there was about a 4 or 5% bump. After using them for the better part of a month and a half, that was it got to be about a 12% bump.
But my cycling has gone from a 6 to an 8 out of 10 probably, and a lot of the elite guys that I train with have noticed it, who haven't been training with me for the winter, and they've seen me in the spring, and they're just like, what happened? How you're so smooth, your upper body is still really smooth cadence, and yeah, I can be a force now.
I would say 2, maybe 3 months I felt a lot stronger, and I really found out where my weak leg was, and I felt that I had done a lot after about 3 months to improve that weak leg.
And what kind of performance improvement have you seen?
Oh, I saw a big drop in times. I'm not going to tell. I don't want everyone to use these PowerCrank things.
My cycling improvement is big improvement, huge improvement.
And wattage-wise, how much?
Both wattage and also in just overall endurance too. Just the endurance aspect of it.
How much has your wattage gone up in a year?
I'm averaging about 300 watts now, versus about 277 a year ago.
About 10% increase, a little more than 10?
10% I would say,
increase.
yeah.
Okay.
On my wattage.
Yeah. All right.
But my performance, I think, have even improved even more.
Yeah.
My training is at speeds on the bike that I've not seen before.
Okay.
I was looking at hoping to do a 13 mile an hour bike and just making the cutoff. The last race that I did a sub 7. Averaged about 16.5 miles an hour, which is huge in that time frame for somebody who's really not what I would consider a real athletic.
My last race, my last triathlon, I averaged 20 to 21, somewhere in there, and that was where most of my rides had been. And then my first few races so far this season, I've been 24, 25 miles an hour. So yeah, pretty significant improvement.
4 miles an hour faster?
Yeah, after 6 months on doing nothing but PowerCranks.
Right, actually a friend of mine who is a pursuit racer and a road racer, he was the one that started on it. And then I had and he rode it because he had bilateral knee surgery. He had one knee done, and then 4 months later had to have another knee done, and he did it to rehab. And he pedaled. We used to make fun of him profusely because he was the squarest pedaler God ever created. His butt would bounce up and down about 2 inches as he would, especially on the track, when he would go try to spin fast. He looked like he was going to just fly off the saddle. And to watch him smooth out over a period of 6 months was amazing. So it's like, well, if he can straighten out his spin, I've got a pretty good spin already. Maybe I'll try him. So I tried him, and it's been phenomenal.
I saw a difference of about 5 miles an hour from about 20 miles an hour to a little over 25 miles an hour within 6 months.
My last Ironman was my PR bike ride, and I used the PowerCranks a lot.
That's at a half marathon PR.
Okay.
My training is at speeds on the bike that I've not seen before.
Yes, I had the highest RPM for women that Clay Worthington has ever seen. Ever.
What was your number?
255 RPM.
Speed is increased by about 2 miles an hour.
In terms of wattage before the PowerCranks, probably 50, 60 watts.
What can you do now?
I can do 150, 160.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not a bad improvement.
No, not bad at all.
Seeing good race results?
Yeah, overall it's going well. The biggest one, as I mentioned, was the 24-hour race last year. Did 441 miles. So
And you won your age group?
Won my age group, yeah.
I can tell you without a doubt that the PowerCranks, I think, are the single most significant tool and training tool I've had for improving my cycling. Probably my running too, but absolutely my cycling. I have done the same races, and my cycling improved. I would say on an Ironman, the one race that I did before versus a year after doing it, my bike split improved by almost an hour. It went from well over 5 hours to under 5 hours. There's no question that my pedaling efficiency and my strength is, I believe, all due to the PowerCranks.
But I can tell you that I can cruise along now at 325 watts, and that's cruising for me right now. And when I first started on them, it was probably closer to 200 watts. So.
That one particular year that I started with PowerCranks, I was a podium finisher at St. Anthony's and had the fastest bike split I'd ever had. And before I would always be about 10 minutes slower.
Cycling has improved quite a bit. Locally, I've been the #1 cyclist in my age group all this year. At every race, I think I raced 9 local races.
Probably when I started riding with my girlfriend, and she'd get really frustrated with me because I would say, I'm not going hard. Why are you falling behind me? And she's like, you're going fast.
Well, I participate in races of all distances, so especially on the sprints, my high-end average has gone up probably 2 miles an hour. Endurance, I'd say from the 19 range to the 21, 22 range. On the bike?
My personal best was about an hour and 1 minute before PowerCranks, and after about 3 or 4 months on PowerCranks, I was doing it in 57 minutes with the PowerCranks.
Just look at my results. Yeah, in 2002, I biked just over 5 hours on this course. Last year was 4:47, and I biked the 4:30 at Ironman Florida last year.
So we've been running and biking and lifting forever, and PowerCranks are an absolutely essential thing to add to the biking part of your training. And in the off season, I use them a lot. I blend them into my training, and also it's nice when you go out for big group rides to take the PowerCranks off, put the fixed on, and just blow away your friends. It's nice. I wish I was bike racing still. I'm faster on the bike than I've ever been.
Phil Holman was a huge skeptic about the improvement potential for experienced cyclists using PowerCranks. He agreed to test the claims on a dare and documented his experience on the RBR News Group. In 7 months, he increased his top speed 3 miles an hour, his pursuit speed 2 miles an hour, and won a medal at Worlds. Needless to say, he became a believer.
And you also said they've helped you in your hill climbing?
Yes, hill climbing immensely, which is why I'm here at Wisconsin. And
the main change I saw was 40K time trial time improved within 9 months by 5 minutes. I went from a 57 to a 52 for a 40K, and in one season after getting the PowerCranks, I went from a Cat 5 to a Cat 2.
Okay, my cycling's probably better on a measured course that I've been on before. My average is probably a mile an hour faster, and I rode with some 40-year-olds and was able to drop them. Of course, maybe they're not very good, but that was very satisfying.
And they do work because my difference in time in my bike from Ironman Canada 1 year to the next was half an hour. So I can only attribute it to the PowerCranks.
It has measurably improved my overall power outages by wattage, that is, by about 14%, as measured by PowerTap.
The best way for a cyclist to really understand what PowerCranks can do for them and what they're not doing now is to train with them. Take advantage of our 3-month money-back guarantee and see what they can do for you.